Welcome to the Chaotic Stupid Show. This is episode number 5. My name is Derek and I am here with my co-host Arthur.
Hello everyone, and a big hug and salutations to all the people at GenCon right now.
All right, we expect that this show is going to become the gathering place for all things Dungeons and Dragons, geek stuff, movies and series. But today, the big elephant in the room is obviously the new announcements on GenCon.
That's right, guys. I'm pretty excited and not so excited about some of the news that we're going to talk about. There is a lot to discuss, but mainly Dungeons & Dragons has officially cemented GenCon as the premier event, where they are going to be announcing new stuff for the upcoming years. And I think that's a great thing. I think they had already done it, but I think it's now an official announcement. So let's see what they have come up with for this GenCon 2026 in Indianapolis. And let's see what people think. Let us know in the comments. We're going to discuss the 10 top news that they have for us today.
And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, know that there is an extended version of the Chaotic Stupid Show that's only available on Patreon. Please find the links in the description if you're interested about that. Okay, number 1. D&D Icons reunites the game's most influential creators. So what they just announced is that they are bringing back Luke Gygax. He's the son of Gary Gygax, one of the co-creators of Dungeons & Dragons. And apparently he's going to contribute upcoming Greyhawk material which includes content drawn from unpublished notes from his father. At least that's what they announced.
I think that's great. Yeah, and another one of the popular names mentioned is Joe Manganiello. I love that guy. I love that he's so into D&D, and I've seen him in some of the series and TV shows that he acts and works at. And I think it's just great that they are bringing more and more people into the hobby.
They also mentioned that the co-creators of Dragonlance, the popular novels, which are Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman, will also be involved in some of these new projects. They have given very sparse and vague information about it, but we're all ears to see where this is going. Number 2. This is a big one. Third-party studios will now make official D&D adventures. This is something that in the past was not very common, at least not in 5th edition, except for 1 or 2 notable exceptions. For the majority of the life of the 5th edition of D&D, the third-party content has been relegated to the storefront owned by Wizards of the Coast, the DM's Guild, which makes it semi-official, but at the same time not sponsored or fully associated with the Wizards of the Coast, but this is about to change.
That's right, we know the DM's Guild, but the things that we publish there, they are lightly affiliated with Dungeons & Dragons, and there's a license that you have to meet the requirements of and stuff. But now companies like Ghostfire Gaming, Cobalt Press, and Visionary Productions will take care of entire productions for official Dungeons & Dragons products. So I am kind of excited about that, but I don't know if this is the beginning of the end for some of the third-party creators and the freedom in which they can work. Because, I don't know, something smells fishy to me that Dungeons & Dragons is kind of inviting them to create official content, but at the same time, I feel that they have a strange angle to this, and in the future they might say like, okay, yeah, you have published a lot of things for us, but you own nothing of that, it's mine. So I don't know.
Well, Arthur is going all tinfoil hat on us, but on my side, I think it's actually a pretty good idea. It's mentioned in the article that the first of this one is going to be a Ravenloft book by Ghostfire Gaming. Then there's going to be an Eberron adventure by Visionary Productions. And lastly, they mentioned that Cobalt Press is going to be working on a new Forgotten Realms material. I really like it. I mean, maybe one day they'll invite us to make an adventure. We're all Eberron. Yeah, we are Eberron fanboys, so we'd love to do that.
Number 4 topic is D&D Beyond is getting a major overhaul. Basically, D&D Beyond is going to become a sort of a hub for people to go online and find people to play with. They are going to add tools and more things to the platform to make it easier for people to play the game and meet other people that want to play the game with them.
Do you think that's going to work?
I think it's going to work. I think D&D Beyond is getting larger and more popular year after year. Let's remember that after the year 2000, all the children that are being born, they are born into this digital era. So it's natural for them to be part of this world. And new Dungeons and Dragons fans, this is the world that they know. So it's a topic that we have talked about a lot, that a lot of veteran gamers like you or me and many other people, they prefer the books. But we have to admit that this digital era is changing how many players and people see the game. I think it's good news.
Yeah, I think it was a bad faith question because that was not my angle. I was more thinking about how they are making a social hub of every app and service we see. But in the end, people do hang out and speak with each other in their preferred methods. We've seen this with Patreon. Patreon actually became sort of a social hub, and they're doing a lot of things, and I like a lot of them. But I see some resistance on the part of the audience. People prefer to use stuff like Discord, for example. We've had a lot more luck building a community. It's crazy. We've had more luck building a Patreon community on Discord than on the Discord-like features on Patreon because people are resistant. So, and I mean, I wish them the best. Hopefully it's a great product. We don't use D&D Beyond. We prefer pen and paper, but the more tools, the better. The next part of this announcement is also related to D&D Beyond, but it's about the mobile app, which is going to launch next year. Now, about this, we would know even less because we don't use D&D Beyond to begin with. But like I said, the more tools, the better. And if the app is good, well, I guess it's going to be amazing. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's news number 5. And in the 6th place, we have Warlock, the action game that Dungeons & Dragons is going to release. They just gave some more lore and background depth to the character. The name of the character is Katri, and she's a warlock. We still don't have an official date for the release of this game, but what I have to say is that if you look at the second paragraph, 4th line, it says that first created by Gary Gygax in Greyhawk setting, Tasha was a human raised by a primordial witch, Baby Yaga. So I'm very curious to know what Baby Yaga does and who she is.
Who is Baby Yaga?
Exactly. It sounds like Baby Yoda. So we're gonna have to know more about this game to say more about that.
Spoiler alert, we know it's a typo. Okay, the next announcement is scheduled to be released on September 15th later this year. Arcania Unleashed is going to release a full campaign for levels 11 through 20. This is part of D&D's major expansion for its season of magic, and it's going to add a ton of options for this is all going to be like player content. There's going to be 10 new backgrounds, 8 subclasses, 29 feats, 33 spells, 6 magic group pages, blah blah blah, factions and monsters and meta rules, magic items, evolving magic items, magical creatures, everything you need for the Arcania themed adventures that you want. Scheduled to be released later this year. I'm not really sure I'll get it. Probably not.
It sounds fun, but let's see what the content is actually before buying it. Okay, next is that Greyhawk will return in Crown of the Witch Queen. Greyhawk is basically kind of forgotten. Just Dungeons & Dragons hardcore veteran fans remember what Greyhawk is. So I'm very happy that the current edition of Dungeons & Dragons is gonna get some love for this setting, for Greyhawk. And Greyhawk Crown of the Witch King is going to be a 160-page campaign centered on Relza, the vampiric daughter of Tasha. So I think this is just good news. I think it's great that we have Dungeons & Dragons and Wizards of the Coast working on these settings that were kind of forgotten. I think it's just good.
It also, this Polygon article also mentions at the very end this, which I don't know if they're just like speculating, but it says it also represents the first campaign setting supported by D&D icons, meaning that Luke Gygax's contributions and Gary Gygax's unpublished notes could help shape the wider return to the world.
I think that's great because I was saying that this setting was kind of forgotten. It was like an oversight just for veteran, old school D&D gamers. But I think it's great that now new players and new people that play 5e or prefer 5e are gonna have a taste of what Greyhawk is.
Yeah, we recently were considering a lot of cartography for Greyhawk because we did an interview with Anna B. Meyer, who's been making maps for Greyhawk for the probably half of her life, and probably will do so until the end. Actually, she was just telling us in that interview that she was planning to remap everything she had done. I guess she was finishing it and she was like, well, I still have a lot of time. Let's do it again. So if you're interested about that interview, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Check out the interview. It's pretty good.
And I admire her dedication to the craft. You have to watch what she does, and the size of her maps are simply humongous, ridiculously large. But I think she's doing a great job for this community, and Greyhawk fans are going to be happy that they are going to be able to use her content into this new Dungeons and Dragons campaign adapted for 5e.
Yeah, crazy work. Then one of the most acclaimed announcements in GenCon so far is that they're working already on an M-rated Dark Sun supplement. Apparently, we're going back to Dark Sun. Now, spoiler, or maybe full disclosure, at the time when we had the chance to play Dark Sun, we never did because we are Eberron fanboys. Nope. So we actually never did play. I owned some of those books and I read them. It was pretty good, but we never played them. But now they're doing it again.
Yeah, I have to admit that we preferred the Dragon Marks and Warforged back then. But reading this, it says that the book will be labeled for players 18 and older. It's going to be actually M-rated because they're going to include bloodshed, nudity, and sexuality in the books. I am kind of impressed because Dungeons and Dragons, as of late, in the past, 10 years, they had taken a different approach to their content, and I'm just happy that they are actually saying, you know what, let's do this.
It's been very sanitized.
Yeah, and I don't wanna say it was bad. It was just a different approach. But I'm just happy that they are exploring these options as well, because I think that the game, at the end of the day, it's a game about heroes with swords that are going to decapitate a goblin. I mean, it's just what it is.
It is what it is. Now let's read this quote.
Athas isn't the world you save. It is the world you survive. It is a brutal place where survival is its own act of defiance.
Yeah, I'm bought. Let's get that setting. Now, if you have been watching our episodes, episode 3 of Chaotic Stupid Show, we talked about Magic the Gathering and the question, what are they doing? Because the direction that they have taken with Universes Beyond is kind of questionable, to say the least. However, now that they have announced that Dungeons and Dragons is going to grab that idea and borrow it from Magic the Gathering, which is owned by Wizards of the Coast as well, they are going to combine World of Warcraft with Dungeons & Dragons, and they're going to release a 256-page book combining both universes. This is going to launch November 17th of this year, and with early access November 3rd. I am not sure. It's going to have a lot of content, 26 magic items, spells, factions, monsters, 7 dungeons, and whatnot, but I'm not sure if, World of Warcraft actually blends well with Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's great. But the next announcement about this is Star Wars. And I don't know, I think this is like a snowball effect. What's next? Avatar: The Last Airbender and Dungeons and Dragons combined? Or My Little Pony? Or Steven Universe? Or I don't know, man.
Check out this line where it says, this is more than a one-off collaboration. World of Warcraft establishes Universes Beyond as an ongoing D&D product line. Although Wizard says, they claim, it intends to carefully balance outside franchise against original D&D worlds. So they're kind of saying we don't want to push it too far, but one day we're going to have D&D Stardew Valley, D&D Steven Universe.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't know if this is actually healthy for the brand. I believe that they should be working on new settings, new campaign settings. What they did with Dark Sun and Greyhawk, exactly that for new editions. Perhaps it would be even better for the hobby if they worked on 6th edition or something like that. I don't know if this Universes Beyond concept and project is going to age well.
What about a Cartoon Network supplement?
So. I mean, why? Do you want to have a Dexter fighter and then a cyborg from the Teen Titans Rogue? What is that?
They might actually do Marvel at some point. Dungeons and
but
Dragons
that's-
MCU.
But that is my problem. That is my problem because we already have other TTRPGs that answer to that public. We already have Traveler and Mothership for people that like spaceships. So we don't actually need a combination of Star Wars and Dungeons and Dragons. And then if you tell me that they're gonna have a Peaky Blinders and Dungeons and Dragons combination, I mean, we already have Tales from Elsewhere. If you want to have that kind of cowboy, old school kind of adventure,
or
I
Blades
don't
in the
know.
Dark maybe would lend itself more for.
Blades in the Dark and Scum and Villainy are systems that cater to that kind of public that want to play those universes and those kind of games. I don't really know that this is going to age well. Dungeons and Dragons has its own identity, and I think they should work on that identity and improve it instead of expanding it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's see what happens. I want to see this plane crash. And the last one is, Arthur just mentioned it. They made a very vague announcement that Wizards of the Coast is officially making something with Star Wars. Maybe it's going to be one of these Universes Beyond program things. I don't know what it says here. The biggest reveal of the night during D&D's GenCon panel happened when Darth Vader took the stage. However, virtually no details have been revealed about... Well, I'm sorry, it's confirmed here. It's D&D's second Universes Beyond release ever. It's confirmed it's going to be focused on Star Wars.
So what's going to be the third? I mean, we can only imagine.
Well,
they're going to continue on that trend. So I think you're onto something when you said that they're going to be working on Marvel Cinematic Universe next. I wouldn't be surprised.
Actually, an MCU Universes Beyond thing would be closer to D&D than Star Wars is. So it's definitely on the table as long as they get the licensing right.
No comments.
However, and this is something I spoke with Arthur earlier, where we disagree. I kind of like where this is going from the collectibles side of things. These Star Wars things, the Star Wars books or whatever they release, I would like to get them as collectibles. I think they're gonna be looking pretty nice in this bookcase behind me.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Those Magic the Gathering Stardew Valley cards, I want them as a collectible.
Yeah.
But I kind of despise the combination of universes they made. I think they don't go well together.
Yeah. I mean, the World of Warcraft, I'm skipping this. I'm not even into World of Warcraft. But the Star Wars stuff, yeah, might get it, actually. Okay, that's it for GenCon. We are obviously not envious of all the people who got to go to GenCon. We're back here having you know what? We're even having a better time.
But you're not jealous. And as you know, this is the new guy on the block because Darrington Press released Daggerheart about 3 years ago, but it's had a great success, and they continue to have it. Everybody loves Critical Role. Campaign 4 is gathering more fans and more people into the hobby, and their system, the system they created, Daggerheart, they are going to be working in a virtual version of it. They are going to release virtual content for the system. Daggerheart and Foundry VTT are going to be working together, and this is the announcement they made. I'm just happy for them. I think it's a good thing to have this kind of healthy competition. And the article that we're seeing on the screen, it basically says, Daggerheart just became Dungeons & Dragons' biggest rival. And I think they are. I think Daggerheart will only grow and grow and grow as time goes by, and I think it's a great thing. I think it's a good thing that Daggerheart gets this kind of love.
This is actually pretty great news because for all the people that were playing Daggerheart on Foundry VTT, they were relying on some user-made content, which sometimes had some issues with the licensing for Daggerheart. So this is actually pretty good. Finally, they're gonna get some real support on this VTT. I wonder if it's ever gonna come to Roll20. Who knows? The announcement also mentions some accessories are gonna be on the way, like some extra books and thingies, like GM screens and stuff. The more the better. We don't play Daggerheart. We're currently playing a Shadow Dark campaign. More on that later. But As usual, the more the better.
Yeah, it is a system that I actually want to explore, and I want to get my books and then I purchase some content for it. I think it's worth exploring it.
Alrighty, well, thank you for watching here on YouTube. This episode is not over. We are going to carry on our Patreon exclusive release. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description for our paying supporters on Patreon. They have access to the full episodes. Okay, see you later.
See you later. We're going to be talking about what happened in our Shadow Dark RPG campaign. So if you want to know what's up and what happened in our last 2 sessions, see you on Patreon. Goodbye.